Good morning, everybody. Kathy here from Pintail Paddocks. If I look a bit puffy-eyed, then it's first thing in the morning. I'm just going over to check on the animals, and I thought I'd take you with me on my morning routine today. So come along and see what I get up to in the morning. So here we are. Just going and having my first observation of the field, seeing how my alpacas are, because they're not due yet, but they're due the middle of next month. Chickens are already out because they've got a timer on their coop, and the alpacas look fine, which is good. The goats are still in, but let them out in a minute. But first of all, I have to set up my equipment for milking and check that my area is clear. We've just moved around, so this is a new area that we've created because the sun has been so strong. The animals at the heat of the day have had nowhere to go. They've had the other shelter, but it's enclosed, so we've done this one so that they've got other areas that they can get out of the sun and into a little bit of shade. So let's go and see what sort of mess they've made here this morning. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a brush off. The milk's only for us, and I'm happy with my cleaning routine as such. My husband is going to make me an area that is ultra clean, that the animals can't get into all day, so I won't have to worry about cleaning it every day. I'll just clean it at the end of the day. I do it at the end of the day every day, but it doesn't stay like that because the animals come up. So I'll just give it a quick spray of Dettol, and then we know that it's had a bit of a spray everywhere that I'm going to be working. You know that it's clean. Nothing's ever going to be hyper clean, but it's as clean as you can get it. Right, now I'm happy to put my bits and bobs down. So that is the container to collect the milk. This is a jug that I put my bottled baby's milk in. And this is the electric to work the pump, which then puts the milk in. So I set this all out here. I'm just going to check that you can see what I'm doing. So this is how I set it out. I'm going to make sure that I've got the right items. So this one here, which the milk comes through, because you've got the stoppers on it, goes to the side and the milk goes there. Did have numbers on when I first got it. This is the second machine I got. The first machine worked brilliantly. I did it as a test because I used to hand milk, but I've got arthritis and carpal tunnel, and I did increasingly find it more difficult. And also with the animals, I didn't want them to be there any longer than they needed to be. So that's that. So that's that one that's gone in there. So that's the one from the pump into there. So that's what creates the pressure. So that one creates the pressure in there so that the milk comes through on the other one. And that one there I've put in is the one that isn't connected to the milk supply. So again, that's creating pressure. So I put this one here out of the way until they come. And so that's ready for me now. Now the next part of the process. So the next part of the process is to go into get some food for the kids, which we'll get in there. But also at the same time, I prepare and collect the food for the goats. So this is the goats' food. That is the kids' food for the does. So does are the girls, and they can get extra food, whereas the boys can't. If they do, they get extra issues. So this goes around the other side, and I'll show you that in a moment. Hello, girls. Before I feed the alpacas, I get my grass pellets and feed the kids so that keeps them quiet. Then I come in and feed the alpacas, and I'll share that with you. So now this is the alpacas. Their food is kept in here. They have their own little feeding stations. So we've got one here. That's Polly. Then we've got Madam Butterfly, Maddie. And then we've got Angel. Good girl. Now what generally happens in the morning is Polly over here will finish hers and then want to eat Angel's. Angel and Maddie are both pregnant. They are due in the middle of next month, middle to end of next month. But they could have them any time from the beginning of next month. See, Polly now is already thinking, oh, I'll eat Angel's. So now we have to get Polly's, because even though she wants to eat somebody else's, she actually hasn't finished her own. So now she needs to disappear, because otherwise she'll try and eat theirs. The chickens are around because sometimes I'll give them a little bit of the goat's food. So I generally do that to keep them out of the way, just so that everything else can be done. So that's Maddie finished. Good girl, Maddie. Maddie doesn't leave a single morsel. She eats every single little bit. She's not worried about somebody else's food, just about her own. Good girl. Angel does, though, sometimes. She's left a few bits in there, so I'll just try and get her to eat those. Now, they have that food twice a day. They don't have much of it, and that's just to give them extra vitamins and minerals and things like that that they need. And it's just hay and grass that they have the rest of the time. Obviously, in their own country, they would have different food. So now over here, I just get their food ready for tonight, so that then I don't have to worry about it. The alpacas with young have different food to the others. So this is 1/4 of a cup, and that's how much Polly has, because she's a little bit overweight and she's not pregnant, so I can be a little bit more careful with her. Maddie has a heaped one of those, as does Angel, but then Angel has a little bit more because she's just a normal weight, not like Maddie and Polly, who are overweight. So that's the alpacas done. Now we are going to go and retrieve one of the goats, which is a milker goat. But before I do that, I have to make sure her food goes in here. And one of the things that I have forgotten is to get my wipes. So I need to make sure that I collect those. And generally, goat connected bits and bobs are in here, and alpacas are in the other side. Now, what I've found is, this is a tip for anybody that I'm sure that lots of mums have worked this out, but if you hold down here and you pull, you generally get one at a time rather than a whole pack. Not hard, because otherwise they rip. So then I have got my 4 wipes that I can use on the udders of my alpacas. So we'll pop these over here and we will go and retrieve the goats. Right, let's go and get one of the goats. We'll see if they've remembered that they're in a new place. They've been there now, this is the 3rd day. So we'll see if they remember or whether they go somewhere else. Morning, Storm. Hello, Storm. And here is Snow. So we're going to get Snow first. Morning, Snow. Hello. Good girl. Come on then, baby. And the kids are calling next door because they want even more food. So she has already forgotten that she's in the wrong place, but she'll soon remember when we walk around there. Come on, sweetheart. Right, I'll just get you set up so that you can see. Right, she's trying to have her food without getting up there, which isn't going to work. So if she's decided not to get up, then we have to encourage her to make sure that she gets up. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Up. Up. Come on. Up. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. We pop her head in there. Pop this across just so that we can do what we need to do. So sorry about that. Unfortunately, I've got a technical hitch and my microphone has gone off, so I'm going to have to talk you through the rest. So this is me now telling you that the teats need to be cleaned off to make sure that anything that's left over from the night before is all cleaned off. And whilst you're doing that, you can check to feel if there's anything else going on there, whether they're hard, whether they're hot, making sure that they're kept well. Then I'm just turning on the milking machine, just checking and just getting rid of some of the milk. So that's making sure that the ends of the teats are clean and also that the milk's coming out fine. You're checking to see if the milk is coming out as normal or whether it's thick or whether it's a different colour in any way, shape or form. Then you put on, as I have just done, the teat covers, and you wait for the vacuum to build up so that they hold themselves on and start drawing the milk through. The goat is quite happy to be fed, quite happy to be stood there eating her food and being milked. I used to milk them by hand, but this just makes things a lot easier. I'm just showing you there that the top ones, that's where the milk's coming through, and the other ones are creating a vacuum, and the vacuum is what pulls the milk in. I used to have a different machine. I did try that one, and because it was so good, I changed to this one. The other one was only 2 litres, and generally I get a lot more than that. So I changed to have the larger machine. The larger machine holds 7 litres, which is obviously a lot more. I'm just now putting some citronella on my goat to try and keep the flies away. It just helps to make them a little bit more comfortable and keep those flies away. I do that with all my animals, including the alpacas, just to make sure that those flies are kept away a little bit. I noticed the other day with my alpacas that the poor girl was trying to have a sleep, Maddie, and she kept on moving her head. So now I pop a couple of drops on their head, and that just deters the flies a little bit. Anyway, they do get a little bit more peace. So here I'm just waiting for the milk to finish, and then I can take the teats off and move on to what I need to do next. This is a sannengoat. She is a milking goat. She has had 2 kids. She is in very good condition now compared to what she was, so that's good. And obviously, after they've kidded, their condition goes down a little bit. They get 2 feeds a day. They get a big bucket morning and night. They have access to hay throughout the day and night. And they get other little treats as well. So things from the garden. This morning I gave them some melon. So I had watermelon, and then I left some of the melon on the skin, cut the skin up, and then they like to have the skin and the watermelon. So we all get a little bit of that. So that's quite nice. So I've just turned off the machine now, so the vacuum is still there. So you just press the teat in at the side and release the vacuum, and then it comes off quite easily. Just take those off and put them to the side so that they're clean. I then wipe her udders off so that I know that she is all clean and ready to go off. I know that her kids, as soon as she sees them, she will allow them to have a drink. They really are too old to be drinking, so to be taking some off of her, it doesn't matter. I'm just putting some cream on her here to try a different type of cream. She's quite sensitive. Most white animals are, so dogs, cats, whatever, alpacas, any white animal is definitely more sensitive to everything. They can get more allergies and things like that. So I'm putting some cream here because she gets some chaff between her leg and her udder. So this just makes her a little bit more comfortable. I do this on both sides. She's not always that happy to have it done, unlike the other one. But it's something that has to be done to keep her comfortable. She she needs to have it done because otherwise she gets really sore. So that's that done now. I'll just do the other side, and then that's that part done. Previously, I had my milking stool, my milking stand up against the side of the shelter, but actually it's better in the centre so that then I can get to either side. It will be a lot easier for cutting their feet as well because they need those cut back regularly. They're clove hooves, so they continue to grow, and because they're not on other hard grazing ground, then they grow and you just need to cut those back. Now I'm just letting her out of the headlock, and then we take her off. It just makes sure that she stays where she's meant to stay. Otherwise, she'd be up and off all over the place. So obviously, the chicken thought that she would come along. Now, this is Storm. She is a Sannon, but she is a sable Sannon, so she's got some colouring on her. She knows exactly where she's got to go and what she's got to do, and she'll do anything for food generally. So we're going to go through the same process with her, but I'm going to speed it up because you've already seen it once. You don't need to see it again. So exactly the same process. She likes her food, so she will finish quite quickly, I would imagine. I generally keep some of her food back to give her a half, and then I'll give her another half just to slow her up a little bit because she can eat at the rate of knots. So now she's all finished with. So she's having some cream put on her udders as well, just to make sure that they're kept nice and soft. I do that about once a week with her to keep her from getting any sores or anything like that. But she's definitely not as susceptible as Snow. And obviously, we've talked about that because she's a white animal. So now she's going to go off. She needs encouragement to go because otherwise she keeps looking for other food. Now I'm going to bring one of her does around. So her doeling, so her young. So it's her young that I'll be bringing round. And she'll come and have something to eat. Now, she was only born in April, but I have them up on the stand quite soon because it is better for them to be up on the stand nice and early, and then they can learn to be on the stand and feel comfortable with it, know that it's nothing to be afraid of, and that they can come up and be quite happy up there. Prior to that, I'm going to pour some milk out for my bottle baby. So he's still having some milk, not a lot in the mornings, very small amount, a slightly large amount at night. He will be going down to one bottle very soon, and then in the very near future, going down to no bottles. I do give a little bit extra milk because my dog absolutely loves the milk. So she has a little bit that's left over in the jug, which you'll see in a moment. But first of all, we have to get Pongo's milk ready and sorted. So obviously this is at the right temperature because it's come straight from the goats. So I don't have to be worrying too much about it. And it's raw milk, so it comes with all the goodness and all the nutrients that the kid goat could ever want. So makes it all nice and easy. And also goat's milk is universal, so it can be used for any animal. At the moment I am helping a friend out and giving that friend some goat's milk for her alpaca. Her alpaca was born 3 weeks, possibly 5 weeks premature. So that can't have the mum's milk because it's too young to stand up and milk from mum. So it's being supported and drinking the milk from my goats, which is lovely. Now I'm just going to have Pongo come out and have his milk. You'll see how quickly it goes. It's probably about 300 mils, 250 to 300 mils that he's got. And his sister will be making her way round to go on to the stand. So as you can see, he enjoys his milk. I generally get jumped all over because he likes it. I have to hide the bottle because if I don't hide the bottle, he is a nightmare and just keeps on looking for it. So now we're going to go out and see to Rosie. As I say, she's the doeling of Storm and was born at the beginning of April. So there she goes. As you can see, she's like a mini Storm. She looks very much like Mum. Pongo is her brother, but Mum didn't want to feed him, so I bottle fed him, and that's why he was a bottle baby. So it just gets them used to being up there. I do put the top across as well. I didn't initially. I used to just let them go up there. Didn't put the headlock across, but now I do. She's got a few sore places underneath. So I'm just having a look to see what they're looking like. And then putting some cream on a little bit later. I was just having a little look at her belly button there. It looked a little bit protruding, so I was just making sure that she didn't have a hernia or anything like that. I would have picked it up before, but I just thought I'd better just have a little check. Now I'm just putting some cream on there where she's got a little bit of a sore where I think she's caught herself. So that udder cream is very, very good, and also stops any flies getting on there because it's quite thick. So they just wouldn't be able to get to them, because with animals, particularly livestock, you've got to be very careful of fly strike or anything like that, because the maggots can be laid on the eggs can be laid on the animal, which obviously isn't very nice. So you've got to try and stop that at any way you can. Thankfully, none of my animals have had that issue. So for a doeling like this, it's just about getting them used to being in there, knowing that it's a nice place to be. She likes a good old rub and a good old cuddle anyway, so it's just getting her used to that it's not a horrible place to be, it's a nice place to be, and that she gets lots of cuddles and treats and things like that, so she's happy to be there. I didn't give her as much attention as I did Pongo, because I was focusing on my bottle baby. I've needed to work a lot harder with her to make sure that she is, really friendly with me, to make sure that moving forward, if I were to breed from her, that I can have her up into the milking stool, milking stand, and be able to work with her. All of my animals, I like to know that they're not afraid of me, and that they're quite relaxed around me, so that then it just makes it easier when you're trying to do things to them for their best interest. So whether it's vaccines or if they're poorly, you're able to have a look at them. It's making sure that that's the case. And she likes a good old cuddle anyway. As you can see, they're all pretty much babies. Little bit of citronella on her as well. And then we'll be swapping her with her cousin. Um, and she is called Dottie, and she's a pure Saanen like snow. She knows exactly where she's going and what she's doing, though. No problems with her. Straight up, looking for her food. Like, where is it? She's a gorgeous goat. She's a lovely specimen of the Saanen. And again, we put that across just to make sure that she's used to it. She's nice and healthy, so no issues with her, no sores or anything like that. But I do have a check to make sure, so that she knows, that even if I'm touching her, that it's all safe, and that she's always safe. Always check under the tail, just in case there's any sores or fly strike or anything like that. She doesn't need anything very long, and she eats her food very quickly. She likes, because she's a herd animal, even when I go away, sometimes she's not quite very happy and wants me to be back there so that she gets to eat her food. So I'm just putting some vitamin and minerals in there now that I leave up there for the animals throughout the day. The alpacas aren't allowed to eat those, so I can't leave them down for the alpacas. You can sort of see it there. It's a very powdery substance, and that gives them all the minerals and vitamins and copper that they need. Um, and it's safe because it's up out of the way of the alpacas. The alpacas do try and get to their food sometimes, so I have to be careful where I leave that. But that's nice and safe, and they all go up there. They know it's there, so if they need it, they go up there. I can leave the bicarbonate of soda down in the other area, because they can all use that, alpacas as well. So any ruminants can have access to that. And then if they've got any tummy troubles, then they know just to go and have some of it. And then that will sort any of their issues out. If they've got a bit of bloat or anything like that, then they can do that themselves. So here I'm just detaching it all, so making sure that the pump goes back up on the side, and I then can wash all of those areas, the teat covers, the pipes, and the milk container. With the milk that I keep, we drink the milk. I make soft cheese with the milk, and I've also just learned to make hard cheese that needs to mature in the fridge or in a cave. I haven't got any caves, so it's got to go into the fridge. I've recently bought a press to be able to do that with. So if that's something that you want to see in the future, how I make my cheese, then just let me know and I can do that with you. So I'm just finishing up and tidying around. Obviously, that's something that needs to be done at the same time. I need to take my milk, because if not, the animals will help themselves. So I'm just spraying it down again afterwards, just to make sure that it's nice and clean, because there was some milk on there. I don't want to encourage the flies. So it's just a Dettol solution, just to clean it all down, and then it leaves it all clean. Obviously, the chickens, as you saw before, and the goats and everything will go up there. So I will clean it again for the next session, but at least it's all been left clean and there's nothing there for now to encourage those blinking flies. The dog has drunk the milk that I took over to her, so she's enjoyed that. Now it's a matter of grabbing all my bits and bobs. And I'm just going to show you how much milk is in there. That's a 7-litre container, so it'll give you an idea. Thankfully, I didn't drop it. So there's about 5 litres in there, which is about 2.5 litres per goat, which is quite a good amount. Obviously, more than we could drink a day anyway. And that's why I make other things with it. I'm just about to learn how to make goat's milk soap, so we'll see how that works. So this is just going over, this is the goats. I'd put them away as I was seeing to the doelings, because otherwise we'd end up with some taking milk from their mums without the other ones being able to do that at the same time, particularly Snow's too. Obviously not Pongo, he's had his. So we just let those goats out, and then they can feed their young. And that just shows that although I've milked them, they hold milk back for their young as well. So it's not that I take all of their milk. Then what I do is, after the milking, is I will go and have a cup of coffee, and then I will come back and tidy this area out, and that's clean every single night. So I clean it now, and then I don't put new bedding down until the following day. Storm's in there. She knows she shouldn't be in there, so she's coming out. So we put, oh, there you go. So that shows you that even though I've milked them, that they still hold milk back for their young, even though they're too old and shouldn't be having any milk now. But you can see that they're enjoying it. Their little tails are going 19 to the dozen, bless them. And when she's had enough, a quick up and over, and off she goes. So this is Pongo being naughty. He was the first one to jump on top of the feeders, and then the others learnt. Then I go up and check the chickens. They've got water here, so all of the animals use that water, including the chickens. But I also go up and check that the chickens have got their water for the day as well, so that if they don't like the rain, so if they want to get in and out from the rain, then they can go in there. And they've got the two, so they've got the one at the far end, the white and green one, and then they've got that one there. Because some like some, and some prefer the other. I've got a chicken in there. The dog made a hole, so she's basking in there and having a little bit of a dust bath. This is where Pongo jumps up, and unfortunately he runs all the way along the chicken run and on the chicken shed. So I have to put this over so that he finds it harder to jump up there, and it just puts him off a bit because unfortunately, as you'll see in a moment, he has ripped the tarpaulin, and I've got to replace that now because I'm expecting that we will have a flop down, so therefore that will need to be replaced to keep them dry in the winter months. The goats are here quite happily having some of the vitamins and minerals that I said to you that I'd put up there. So Billy's being a little bit naughty and stopping Pongo from having some, but I always make sure that there's enough up there for all of them. Billy will go away in a minute and Pongo will go and help himself to what's left up there, and I always make sure that there's some up there. And this is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching and being part of this. Remember, if you've liked the content, give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see a little bit more, then please subscribe and press the bell, because if you press the bell then you'll be notified when there's new content.